Patrick, Phenotype February is in the books now, and there's a lot of really great, in-depth, detailed work on different phenotypes and different conversations around phenotypes that everybody can explore on the Phenotype February homepage. I actually want to just talk about the reasoning behind Phenotype February now for a second month and why it's really important for the community to think about phenotypes.
Yeah, thanks, Craig. Yeah, I was really excited to see so much progress made in Phenotype February here in 2023. I want to specifically give a shout out to Aziz Shoaibi and Gautam Rao. Did a wonderful job coordinating and all those that participated this last month. Phenotype development evaluation is really fundamental to all of our work in this journey from data to evidence. Every analytic use case we have, whether we're talking about characterizing disease natural history or doing causal inference about safety of medical products or developing patient level prediction models to predict outcomes of individuals, it's all predicated on this idea that we can create cohorts that represent people's disease state in a faithful way. And phenotype development evaluation is about how do we actually create the logic to create those cohorts, and how do we understand their measurement error. And as a field, we've been doing a lot of great advanced work on how to conduct analysis, but the phenotype work is kind of the Achilles heel of almost all of the real world evidence we have. And we really, as a broader research community, haven't gotten our hands around what measurement error means. And so I'm really impressed that our community is taking this challenge on head on, trying to advance the science of phenotyping and trying to develop phenotypes for specific disease targets that as a community we can reuse. And so I hope that the lessons that we're learning through the debates and discussions that took place in Phenotype February will kind of leave a lasting impression, but I also hope that it'll motivate even more people to contribute to our phenotype library and to continue to pay attention to the important role that phenotypes play in all of our evidence generation activities.
In the weekly Phenotype February updates were one half of our monthly community calls over the last 4 weeks. The other half of those were the work group goal setting, discussions for 2023. We heard from, I think, 24, 25 different work groups highlighting, not only the purpose, so that there's a broad understanding of what each work group does, but specifically what they are trying to accomplish in 2023. And I think as a community, we've really strived, especially over the last year, to enable and empower collaboration between the different work groups to hopefully build on what they're all doing. When you hear the work that is being done and that they're looking to do this year, how do you feel like that whole strategy is going?
Well, I really enjoyed listening to all of our leaders in our community showcasing what they as work group leads are hoping to bring their teams ahead to the journey and hopefully encouraging others to participate. But what I was really keeping a keen eye towards is not just groups looking to achieve their own individual objectives, but how they were trying to fit in as a piece of the puzzle to advance OHDSI's mission. And so one of the things that I was very encouraged to hear about is how work groups were looking to try to collaboratively advance our data standards, how there was connections between work groups that were trying to develop tools and incorporating those tools into our open source development, and how there were numerous groups that were aiming to try to conduct network studies where they could really bring together shared interest across multiple work groups. So I was excited to see the ambitions of our work group leads in their respective areas of subspecialty focus, but even more encouraged to see how these can actually serve as Lego pieces fitting together to reach the overall objective that I think we're all here to be doing together as a community.
We talk about collaborations between work groups, but we've also really focused this year just on collaboration opportunities for the entire community, whether it's inside of OHDSI, our own symposiums, or collaboration opportunities outside of the community. We've talked about, ISPI and Amy and some of the OHDSI symposiums, 3 of them coming up this year. Can you talk a little bit about some of these specific opportunities and really, the exciting news that have come out over the last month of the 3 different symposiums happening this year?
Yeah, well, I want to compliment you, Craig, because you're doing a great job on our community calls in making sure that these collaboration opportunities are raised to everybody. As a steering committee, we've set one of our objectives is to raise the profile of collaboration opportunities so we can get more members in our community working together. A clear, obvious opportunity for that is at scientific conferences where there's chances to submit panel presentations, workshops, individual papers that can be co-authored by multiple individuals. And so, we had multiple members of our community talk about the value of the International Society of Pharmacoepidemiology, whose deadline passed in February. And only in a couple weeks' time is the deadline for the American Medical Informatics Association. And AMIA will be later this year in New Orleans. But clearly, there's a large number of informaticians in our community, and the chance to represent what we're collectively doing at OHDSI at AMIA and have a good showing is directly apparent. So I hope members of the community will think about how they could be collaborating with one another for meaningful contributions at the AMIA meeting. It was also great that here in February, we were able to officially announce the 3 OHDSI symposiums, which will provide direct opportunities for collaboration amongst individuals, but also just getting together, networking, and learning from each other. I really want to thank Peter Reinbeck, who announced that the OHDSI Europe Symposium will be held July 1st through 3rd in Rotterdam in the Netherlands. I want to thank Nicole Pratt, who's hosting our OHDSI APAC Symposium, which will be held in Sydney, Australia, July 13th and 14th. And then it was great for us to announce that the OHDSI Global Symposium this year will take place October 20th through 22nd in East Brunswick, New Jersey. Now, each of these are going to be a great opportunity for the community to come together physically in person to celebrate the work that's been done and to forge new collaborations moving forward.
We should also discuss or at least mention, and we can talk about more about it next month, but DevCon coming back April 21st. That's a virtual event, but it was really a successful event last year. So that'll be a virtual event in Teams. It really has been a great month. A lot to talk about. We have great community calls coming up this month, including next week. We're going to hear about the research presentations for possible Save Our Sisyphus lead ideas, and then that will start up at the end of the month. We'll also hear about some publications that have come out, some debates, always a favorite topic of community calls. So a lot to be excited about. Thanks for joining, Patrick.
Thanks, Craig. Science!